So gaming is a huge interactive entertainment juggernaut, almost 3.5 billion players globally. And advertisers are dipping their toes, they're just not diving in. So a lot of times on a plan, many brands will have one gaming partner and just not multiple. So we are definitely seeing brands engage in gaming. It's just not in the same way where other media, they'll buy multiple streamers or multiple podcasters. And the thing is, so much of gaming has different audiences. Twitch is entirely different from console, from PC, and even on mobile, for example, like the two largest players in the US, Zynga and Activision, the duplication is super low. It's like sub 10%. So there's no reason why you shouldn't buy multiple gaming channels to have extended reach.
Okay, so Gab, we are deep into the attention era, the attention economy era. Within this era, this moment, what makes mobile gaming such a uniquely powerful channel?
Yes, we are in the midst of the attention economy, definitely. And gaming is such an important vertical within the attention economy because really of the extended time spent. Zynga is number 6 in time spent out of the top 100 mobile properties, according to ComScore. That means we have more time spent than TikTok. So really, people are going on their phones, specifically with mobile gaming, all day long, multiple times a day. And they're having like these bite-sized, really deep experiences with their favorite mobile game, but they're doing it all over the place when they wake up, on their commute, waiting in line, at lunch at work, and then of course like the prime time for gaming is prime time for television. So the question is, what are people paying attention to more, their phone in front of them or their TV?
So I know well enough that when my wife is playing a game, not to interrupt her. So for advertisers, as players are so immersed, as their attention is so engaged, how can advertisers best capture that me time that players have?
Yeah, I mean, I think what's interesting is that the number one ad in mobile games, which the majority are free to play, and so they're ad supported, is called rewarded video. And that's a completely opt-in ad. So it's non-interruptive at all. And what's interesting is that, gaming revenue makes up 50% of the gaming business. So PC, console, like mobile has more than both of them. But only maybe 5-10% of payers buy in-app purchases. So we're seeing 90% of players are like grinding through their games and they really sometimes need help, right? They need to get through that level. They've been playing something all weekend, they can't get past it, and that's when they're gonna opt in to a rewarded video to get something in exchange for helping them finish their level or whatever challenge they're finding. So brands don't have to worry about interrupting the gamer. In fact, they're additive to the experience. And then further, Zynga has a game studio internally that's dedicated to making games for brands. So what we like to do is to gamify brands and make the ads playable. So we have playables and shoppables and even interactive video, because if somebody's already deeply engaged and they're moving and doing something in a phone, it's really native to the experience to have them do the same thing with an ad.
So I've been kind of surprised about the explosion of dual screen behavior. I always thought gamers are just locked in, but no, they're also watching CTV at the same time. So within that sense of this spread of attention, how can advertisers recognize possibilities and opportunities within that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm at a lot of conferences, including Beat TV conferences, and what I see is there's this big attention on CTV, and how does mobile fit into that? And I think that sometimes when you're listening to panels or discussions on it, they're ignoring the elephant in the room, which we all know to be true, which is everyone has their phone next to them while they're watching TV. And the question becomes, how are these competitive or additive to each other? And I would say that they're additive. We've done 2 studies recently with Samba TV on campaigns that we've run for entertainment clients, and what we saw was that broadcast alone versus broadcast and Zynga really drove a lot of extra lift for tune-in, and the same exact thing for a streaming client, that buying streaming alone, which you would think is like native and endemic to a streaming advertiser, would work really well on its own, but actually adding Zynga to the mix increased tune-in significantly. So I think that they're both extremely effective channels, and I don't think it's about either or. I think it's about using both probably at the same time, and you are getting a different engagement. I also hear a lot of streamers trying to make their ads interactive, and I just don't think TV is there yet. I don't think people really want to engage and use their remote to click on ads, but they do want to do that on mobile. So, when we're talking about the boom of interactive ads and two-way ads, gaming is way beyond most others in, excelling, knowing how to do it. For example, I told you we have a game studio dedicated to brands. We've made hundreds of games. We have dozens of mechanics. Depending on the KPIs of the brief, we will really change the look, the feel, the mechanic, how the game works, and deliver on KPIs accordingly. So I think that if you're only buying CTV, you're definitely leaving money on the table.
So I love how you weave together the ways that CTV and gaming can complement each other, add commerce to the mix, and you have this really strong convergence. But within those three very distinct things, what strategies do you see working to engage audiences across screens by advertisers?
Yeah, well, commerce in the mix of CTV and gaming. Retail has been buying mobile gaming for a long time because the primary household shopper is usually a woman, and 75% of casual gamers are female. So if you want to reach who's buying all the things for themselves, their kids, their partners, their friends, their parents, etc., you're going to reach that person who's playing. Retailers know that. They've known that secret for a long time, and also retail media knows that because they need off-channel media to fulfill the reach of their, clients' targets, and they're buying a lot of mobile gaming. So they're layering on their own data. So it's a really effective, targeted approach. Whether you're working with Roundel or Walmart Connect, a lot of them are already really deeply engaged in gaming.